In the car, I was screaming that I'm dying, because I knew I was dying. I couldn't breathe, and I was so scared. I remember, I was so scared, and I had this death anxiety, and I couldn't take a breath. So what happened was that I just let go of my body. So I ended up over the car. So I was like seeing what was happening from like a movie scene. It felt like a movie scene because I was really disconnected from. I didn't even understand that it was me in the car.
Welcome to the Light You Are podcast. Today's guest is Jeanette Hedström. She was in a car crash at age 22. Good morning from the U.S.
Yeah, and good evening from Sweden. Thank you for.
Before we get into it, can you tell me what life was like before it happened?
It was pretty regular for me. I just finished school, actually. I was a hairdresser. So I just finished hairdressing school, and I was just living life like a young adult. Didn't have just a lot of dreams and, thoughts of the future. I didn't think that anything could happen to me, or, that wasn't in my field at that time.
Did you have any religious views?
No, I did not. Like in Sweden, we have Christianity as the culture, but I didn't grow up with a religion. Or we are one of the most secular countries in the world. Actually, the faith in Sweden is very low, you could say.
Right.
So no religious views, nothing deep at all, I would say.
Right. Well, take us into it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I was 22, and I was closing up the hairdressing salon early because we were going cross country. It was me and my stepsister. We were going over the weekend to Stockholm, and there was a 5-hour trip, but we only made it halfway. So we were pushed by a lorry truck out in the other lane, and we had a head-on with another car. And I had a small car. It was like a Honda Civic 94 model, and no airbags or anything. We were swung out of the way, and I was in the passenger seat at the time, and my sister was driving. And because that I got the lorry from into my side, I just turned to protect myself, and then the belt ended up in the wrong place. So when we had the head on, it squashed everything up that I had in my stomach up underneath my heart. So my spleen was up in my left shoulder, and my diaphragm was ripped, and my lungs were punctured. A lot of my ribs was off. I had a vertebrae in my spine that was crushed, and also my right shoulder was also broken, and a lot of cuts and bruises like everywhere. But the internal damage in the abdomen was the big thing. And I was screaming like in the car, I was screaming that I'm dying, because I knew I was dying. I couldn't breathe, and I was so scared. I remember, I was so scared, and I had this death anxiety. And I couldn't take a breath. So what happened was that I just let go of my body. So I ended up over the car. So I was like seeing what was happening from like a movie scene. It felt like a movie scene because I was really disconnected from. I didn't even understand that it was me in the car. I just like looked at everything, and I'm like, okay. So I could understand that it was like a lot of emergency, but I was very, very disconnected from it. Like when you watch a movie, actually. And then I got sucked down to my body again. And I was in the anxiety. I was in the pain. Like my body was screaming like everywhere. And yes, I remember I was so, so afraid. And what happened was I heard this voice. And this voice was from inside all around me. I can't even decide, but I heard this voice very clear that just told me that to let go, and I got you. So I did, and I trusted this voice, and I let go. And then is when I ended up in what I call the waiting room. So in the waiting room, I just it took millisecond and I was there, and it felt like I was home. I just felt so happy to be there. It was so clear that I was supposed to be there, and I was just like, oh, hello, like, let's go. I didn't remember then that I had a body or what just happened. I was just so happy to be there, and in the waiting room, it was, white, like colors. My brain tries to tell me that I saw things, but I didn't see things. I knew things. That's what I would like to say, that because everything is energy. So when I go back to that memory, everything is just memories that's coming to me, or energy. Energy is coming to me. So, but my brain has tried to make sense of it all, because it's a lot of things there that doesn't make sense here. Like time, it was like it took forever or just a second. Time is not a thing there like I can. I try to be a bit linear here, but what happened was that I first was greeted from my, let's see, Instagram godmother. I'm sorry, lost my words. My godmother, her name was Annette, and she passed away from breast cancer 10 years previous, and she was the one to greet me there. And I remembered her, I felt her, I knew her. And then there was also two other big energies behind her. And I know more about them today, but then I would describe them as angels, big light beings. And they explained to me that this was just a step on my journey, and I wasn't done with my body, and I was supposed to go back to my body to heal it. And then is when I understood that I had this life, that I had this body and this persona, Jeanette. So I got aware then, because it wasn't there before. And then I also started hearing everybody that prayed for me to come back to my body, to not give up, that I shouldn't leave them. And, I heard my mom, I heard my dad, I heard my sisters, I heard my friends, everybody that was praying for me to come back. I heard that very, very clearly. So I have no doubt in my mind that the prayers that we send out, they end up where they should. So it came into my awareness when I just put my awareness there. They came in. Then they also showed me my life. So I got a life review from when I was born or was in my mother's womb until I'm gonna die the next time. But it also showed me my unique energy, how my energy looks like, and that it's a creator. And also when we clash together with other creators, we create new things. So they showed me also my husband's energy, and that we together created two other energies. That's our children. And then they showed me what would happen if I decided to not go back. So they erased my children's vibration, and then they erased my vibration. And I tried to explain it like, when you throw a pebble into the water, it gives this ripple effect. And this is what I saw, but it wasn't like just horizontal. It was like spheric, like it like goes out everywhere. And so they showed that if I'm gonna break the contracts that I have with them, I would erase them from this life. And also hearing the prayers, and I understood that I'm loved and I'm wanted here. I decided to go back to my body. So I took the decision because I feel that it was my decision. I got a choice to do it. And they helped me to go back to my body. That was also a journey to go back to my body. I can actually say that it was similar like when I was sitting dying in the car. When I was going back to my body is the similar feeling. Like it felt like I was squashed together and ripped apart, and leaving this light and leaving this unconditional love and this knowingness, just going into dark place. And it felt like I was squashed into something that is way too small, you could say. And I also have, it's not a pleasant memory at all. And then I ended up back in my body.
Who do you think the two light beings were?
Today I know who they are. And I know one of them are a part of my higher self.
Do you believe we have spirit guides?
Yeah.
Do you believe one of them was a spirit guide?
Yeah. The other one is a spirit guide as well. Call him Eli.
Eli?
Yeah.
You said you saw prayers, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, this has just happened. And I think that goes to show that time is not linear on that side, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody knew, right?
No, I heard them from different. I heard them all at the same time, but of course they have been spread out on time, on linear time. It
Right.
wouldn't have been happening, when I just heard them all. I just heard them all at the same time, but they wouldn't be just time here.
What followed?
But when I came back to my body, first I was very confused. I was very confused for many years actually for what happened, and my body was very very broken. And I've been on the operation table for a long time. They thought they would have to open me a few more times because there was so much damage in my stomach, my spine. So they didn't know if I was gonna be able to walk again. And I know that because I had been talking before I passed out when they cut off the car's roof and we were stuck in there for 45 minutes. So they also told me that there's a lot of small miracles all over the place, that we were just 5 minutes from the big hospital. And because my spleen was up in my shoulder, like it was not where it's supposed to be. But the belt was sitting in such a way that I didn't bleed to death. So, it was a lot of things that happened that just made everything go the way it went. Also, that I today don't just think is a one coincidence. And so my body was very broken, and they put me full with water so my organs would float, so they didn't have pressure on them, so they could heal easier. And I was on the respirator, and they thought that I was going to be on the respirator for one week at least. On Sunday, this happened on Friday. On Sunday, I started to breathe against the respirator, and then I had punctured lungs and a diaphragm that was like broken. And but they tried to get me off it. So I still had the tube in my throat, but my mom was sitting beside me and telling me to breathe when I forgot to breathe. And so they took me off the ventilator for already on Sunday. And I remember how I heard this voice very clearly in me. And I was like moving my consciousness in my body. And it told me where to put focus, where to put energy, and to move energy. And some places it was like calming energy, and it was like white and bluish light that I was calling in, and I was working with it. And some places it was more an activating phase, and then I used more of the colors like red and yellow and orange and stuff like that. So this I did in my body a lot, because I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, I couldn't see or anything, but I was there. And I remember I felt how I couldn't communicate. Like I couldn't communicate with my mom. I couldn't communicate with anyone. And it was very, very confusing. And I have the first memories, if you say, from my body where I communicated. That was on Monday. They were like moving me, and they had this big transport bus because they were moving me to another hospital that was closer to home. So I was on intensive care in another hospital. And I remember they asked me, like, do you know what day it is? And I said, yeah, it's Friday. And they were like, no, it's not Friday, it's Monday. And you've been in a car crash and you're on the way to the hospital. And I remember thinking, like, where have I been? Where have I been? I couldn't understand what happened with those 3 days. And yeah, but I healed up very, very quickly and didn't have to open me again. And the doctor would say it's a miracle. And I was in intensive care for a week until they put me on another ward. And but then it was a lot of healing to do. And I just knew that I was going to heal because they told me that I was going to heal. Also, one thing that also had like a gift that I had from this is I could feel vibrations. So I could feel and read energy. So when people was talking to me, I could feel if they were honest or if they were, what feeling they had behind it. And what I didn't understand then was I also felt like a disharmony in my body when someone was telling me something that wasn't my truth. So in the beginning, I felt very, very confused on what was happening, because I could almost feel sick when someone told me something and that wasn't true to me. So yeah, and that is something that I got from this as well. And I still got it, but it's more, I have more, I can handle it today.
Did you tell anybody about this, about what you experienced?
Yeah, I tried
Right.
to, because I had like a big team around me with doctors and trauma psychologists and stuff. I told my mom that I met Annette and Angels, and my mom has always believed me, but she's never had like any answers or anything, like she hasn't been able like to talk to me about it, but she always believed me. But what happened at the hospital is that they just said to me like, well, you dreamt this and you were in this trauma and your brain made this up and like you were hallucinating and stuff like that was the answers that I got. And I very quickly felt very afraid of speaking of it, because I couldn't explain it myself, and therefore I could not try to argue with anyone about it either. So I just locked it away because it felt so true to me. But they were like walking into my holy room with dirty shoes, and I just like locked it away. And for a long time, I tried to say to myself that, oh, that didn't happen. That wasn't true. But I felt like I was going crazy instead. Like I felt like something wrong with me, and I was very afraid because I was very sensitive. So I was feeling energies, not just from humans. I was like feeling energies, and I couldn't read energy. I couldn't understand what was happening, and I could not get any help with that from the hospital. So yeah, I was very scared actually of this in the beginning, but I was also so happy that I was alive. So it was a bit of a clash of being afraid and just want to live and not be afraid of living.
At what point did you start feeling comfortable telling people?
I think it was because I started searching for this, and Google didn't exist, like podcasts didn't exist, nothing like that in Sweden. There wasn't much to read, or I couldn't find it anyway. So, but when I met my husband, that was like 5 years after, and he's an engineer and very, very, evidence based and materialized things like the brain, and I understood that I have to start speaking, like, and trying to get people to actually just hear me out and understand. Like, I was searching for words before, I think, because there's not really words to describe. And what happened was that I searched myself. I tried to explain, so I started searching. So I ended up more in the spiritual community, because even if they couldn't understand me like total, they still had a more open view to energies, and they were reading other stuff that like the hospital wouldn't tell me about. That is where I started my journey, just to explore, okay, to get words to explain what happened to me, and also started talking about it. So it took maybe uh, 2 years, and then when I really started to talk about it, it was with my husband 5 years after, and now it's 20 years. 20 years has gone fast.
That's like yesterday, really. You felt like you were at home, and this is a dream, right? Do you feel, when you came back, do you feel like we're still in a dream?
Yeah, well, for me, NDE felt more alive and more real than
Right.
this. In a way, yeah, I feel like, okay, we are creating here, and I love to be alive. Like, I love my life, and I love to be a creator and live, so, but yeah, I think that we are in bigger control than we understand, and we live and we learn. Yeah, so it's kind of a dream.
What do you do now? Have you been to IANDS yet?
Okay, yeah, I'm a facilitator for IANDS, and I've been since January this year. And we actually started IANDS Sweden also in January. So we are 5 people now that are holding space for this in Sweden. And yes, I've been a facilitator for IANDS for a while, and I'm so happy that I found it because it feels like we are making a difference. We are creating this room, this space where people actually could go in and feel safe to share. Because in the beginning, it's very hard to share because, and also if and with people that don't have a clue what you're talking about. So I just feel like this space is so important. I'm so happy that I'm in it, a part of it.
It kind of leads me into something I always ask everyone is, how do you deal with skeptics?
But today it doesn't matter. We all have our path to walk, and we are all needed. We are all necessary, and I don't judge anything. And I say that today it doesn't matter if they believe me or not. It's more about them than me. It's just talking to you and your beliefs and what you think and what you experienced. And no one can take this away from me. But in the beginning, it was hard to talk about it because it felt like if someone was criticizing me, they would call me a liar. And that just hurt so much. But today, I just know my truth. I can't run from it. I know, I have this knowingness of this experience. You can't take it away from me. And so today, I just say thank you for sharing your point of view. Next, like
Next,
that.
that's all you can do, I guess.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people don't want to believe, and there's nothing you can do
yeah,
to allow them to believe.
exactly.
I want to ask a couple questions I ask everybody.
Mhm.
Um, what's your definition of the meaning of life?
For me, it's experience and evolution and living and creating. We are a part of universe, and we are allowed to use that force to create. I think also that it should be in the in the name of love. We also have this free will that we decide what we're gonna do with it. I just to experience and to live and to create. That is what I think it is all about.
If you had one last message for the world, what would it be?
That would be that we are all unique and no one else could be you. So what you bring down and create in this world is very, very important because no one else can own your vibration and you can't be anyone else either. So just stop comparing yourself. Just turn jealousy into inspiration instead and be you because you are a piece of the puzzle and you are needed. So that I would say.
I love that. And where can people reach out to you and find you?
So I have a website. It's called Healingdoll. So healingdoll.com, and you could go in there, or you could find me also on Facebook or Instagram. It's my name. It's Jeanette B. Hedström, and Bergelin is my husband's name, so it's in there. But otherwise, it's also Healingdoll on.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on here and sharing your wisdom and your experience, and I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely.
No worries. Maybe I'll have you on again next time. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on the Light You Are podcast. If you want to support this channel, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you never miss an episode. Also, if you haven't checked out my children's book, The Light You Are, it's available only on Amazon. We're all just trying to remember who we are, the light we are.